Hey there, Flo here. Another woodworking stream. I'm gonna continue where I left off last time. Working on this workbench thing or work table, whichever you prefer. I don't have much time today because I got a late start as usual, but I didn't really get that late of a start. I got a late start on the stream, but actually drove all the way into town to get some more wood so that I could keep going, because I didn't have enough wood to do the second workbench. So, plus I had another project that I want to do after this. After both of the workbenches are done, I have another even bigger project to work on. And that one's going to be super fun. There's no chance in the world I'm going to get to that today, so I won't talk too much about that. I'll save that for another stream, possibly tomorrow. Today I'm just going to try to finish up the first workbench, and if I get done with that, then I'll start on the second one, but there's no way I'm going to start on the third project. But just a teaser. I won't even tell you about it. You'll just have to wait and see. The suspense is killing us. Except that I already know, but you don't. Okay, so let's get started here. So I did some experimentation on my IRL, just settings in general, and I don't know if I've gotten anything better, but it seemed like some of the settings I was experimenting with made a positive difference, but it's almost impossible to tell with the conditions where I was testing it, because I was testing it in Wi-Fi, which, like, that's no good for when I'm out hiking, because I don't have Wi-Fi. I am on the cell network, which is very unreliable, and that's basically the entire problem, is how unreliable the cell network is. So in reality, all my tests that I did are kind of irrelevant, but I found some settings that will maybe look better. So we'll see about that. All right. Sorry, getting my audio set up here so I can hear, in theory, if somebody comes in chat. Okay, so today we're not going to be doing a whole lot. Might even just be arranging things at this point. One thing I wanted to check was the exposure, because I noticed that if I don't set the exposure to manual, it jumps all over the place like crazy. No, I'll try that. Problem is, when I set it on manual like that, If the sun goes in a different position, it gets really dark or it gets really bright, then it's not going to adjust for it. I find it more pleasant than having it jump all over the place. I can't stand it when it's just going up and down like it was on my hike yesterday. It's just, I should have remembered to try to set it on manual, but I forgot. Okay, so first thing I'm going to do, this is totally unrelated to what I'm actually intending to accomplish today. I'm going to get the boards out of my car that I just bought and brought home. This isn't about having fancy activities or presentation. I'm just kind of doing what I'd ordinarily do. Just happen to have a camera set up while I'm doing it. All right, so I was able to get some OSB because I had it cut down the middle, as you can see, so I was able to fit it hanging out this back of my car. So I'm going to use these in the next project, which I'm not going to talk about yet, but I'm going to get these inside so they're just out of the elements, whatever. Where to put them now? These are big. Right there. No, that sucks actually. The challenge is putting them in a place where they're not in the way of the very next thing I'm about to do. Challenge. I may not actually get anything done today. I'm just kind of maybe doing some cleanup or arrangement of things if this takes too long, but hopefully it won't take too long and I'll actually get something done. I'm still annoyed that I accidentally got the wrong cut made the other day. It wasn't really my mistake. It wasn't really the person's mistake at the store. We just didn't have crystal clear communication, so he cut a board that I didn't want him to. So I don't have the bigger piece that I needed for actually this project I'm working on. I needed two pieces cut to 24, I needed one piece cut to 27 inches and then the rest cut to 24 out of the 4x8. So 4 feet wide by 27 inches and then 24 and 24, and then whatever remains on the last one is just kind of scrap. But while I wasn't watching, I was kind of loading up one of the pieces that he cut. He cut all of them into 24s on the last board, so unfortunately I have one. I'm missing one larger piece that I need for this project, so that's kind of annoying. And hello, JD Max. Ugh. I saw you there. I just forgot to respond. Sounds like you went to wave as soon as you said hello, so assuming you're probably not even here. So now I got a bunch of 2x4s because this project and the next one are made almost entirely out of 2x4s. And to my surprise, my pleasant surprise, I have a bunch of 2x6s left, so I obviously miscounted. I bought some new ones, and I didn't need to buy as many as I did, because I have more than I need, but it's good news because the next project that I'm going to work on, I designed it to have a couple 2x6s in it, so probably end up using them after all. And that means I don't have to buy them, and it's not like wasted money of getting pieces that I don't need. So I'm already seeing some warpage in these boards. It's just inevitable. Like, they seemed pretty straight when I was at the store, but either I wasn't paying close enough attention, or even just in the ride home and the heat of the car or something, they just a little bit warped. But generally it doesn't matter. It just makes things more difficult, but it's not going to ruin the project. I've kind of decided that this is not meant to be a pro quality workbench. Kind of renamed it in my mind to a work table, because a workbench is typically something you use to do carpentry on, and it's quite important that it's pretty straight on the top, because you'll often use the surface as a way of measuring things, keeping things straight. So if your basis for what's straight is not straight, then that could be an issue if you're not aware. But in my case, I'm not going to be using it for anything like that, and I don't think the slight warpage of things is going to matter at all for me. Pretty sure, like, obviously it'd be great if it was perfectly settled in its shape and awesome, completely flat, but it's a hard thing to achieve, especially when using cheap studs. I'm just using like wall studs, cheapest kind of 2x4s you can get. Hey Aladine, thanks for the welcome. Welcome to you as well. I was honestly a little bit nervous that all this weight in the back of my car might do some kind of damage, or some crazy thing might happen on the road. It's a long drive to get to town to get the wood, and so I thought, man, go over too many bumps and I have no idea what could happen. It's just a lot of weight in the back of my car. But thankfully, everything turned out all right. I did pray about it. I usually do whenever I'm concerned about something. I think it's a good time to pray about it. You don't have to worry. It's in God's hands. Yeah, I got 30 2x4s, which sounds like crazy, but it's because of the next project. This project that I'm working on, I think I only needed 5. I had a couple left over from other stuff, and I calculated the best of my ability, and I think 5 was all I needed to get for the second work table. But I figured, since I have to drive to town anyway, and it's quite a bit of money just to go for gas, it'd make it worth the trip and get as much as everything I can imagine I would need for the next project, so I don't have to make another trip to get stuff. So I actually did a mock-up drawing, which I'll probably show tomorrow if I start working on that, or whenever I finish with this first project. and show the drawings that I made that helped me kind of calculate how many boards and stuff I would need. Inevitably, I probably calculated wrong a little bit or did something slightly off, but I think I got pretty close. And by the way, I stayed up all night again last night, so I'm existing on no sleep again, which is kind of my common pattern, really. I end up sleeping a lot to make up for it. I don't think we'll be doing anything overly dangerous today to where my awareness, or whatever the word is, being fully awake or at my best is going to affect anything from a safety standpoint. I'm not even sure I'm going to do any cuts, honestly. I might do 1 or 2 cuts. And if I get as little done as I kind of anticipate, I don't think I'm going to... I probably won't even start on the next workbench today at the rate I'm going and how late it is in the day already. This is a lot of boards. It feels like way too many. And I could have calculated totally wrong, but I think I did it right. Guess I'll find out. So the other thing I bought, which I mentioned in the last stream, I needed washers to put the casters or wheels on the bottom. Let me get my car out of here so it's not in the way. Parked it really close so I could unload that stuff, so I will be right back. Mosquitoes were already starting as soon as I came out, so they're going to be nasty tonight, I think. The other thing I could do is, if I'm doing stuff that's not too crazy, I've been debating on whether to actually do some work in the shop as opposed to sitting outside. I might end up doing that, I don't know. Might have lost signal there. Let me go inside and check, because being inside the metal car and just driving a little distance in a short amount of time might have disrupted the signal. So let me just check. Hopefully it's not in chipmunk mode again or something stupid. I had not seen that in a long time, but Dale and MD Wit informed me yesterday that I had the chipmunk going on again. I think it's when I have almost no signal. Like basically no signal. It's like coming in and out with just a few kilobits, and then it just does all sorts of crazy unpredictable stuff like that. So I was actually trying to end the stream yesterday on that hike. I couldn't I had so little signal that I couldn't even like push a button on my phone that needed to connect to the internet to stop my stream. So I had to like walk quite a long ways to get to a clearing where there was like 1 or like 2 bars, which was enough to push the button, but not enough to keep streaming. A mosquito, oh yeah? Yeah, come on, stay around, you'll see what happens. Oh, I forgot. I was maybe going to look for one of those zapping tennis racket things. I forgot. I'll have to do that tomorrow. I think tomorrow I might head into the post office, which is not quite as long of a drive. It's still pretty long, but and pick up my new phone, which might be coming in tomorrow. So if I remember, I'll try to get one of those tennis rackets in a little store. I don't even know if they have them, but there's this weird convenience store that might have, they just have all sorts of odd stuff because it's kind of the only variety store around. So I'll check there, and if they have one, I'll pick it up. I wish I would have thought of that earlier though, because I was in town and I could have definitely found one somewhere. Okay, what are we doing? Okay, next step is to pull out the project from that I've started, whatever, yesterday, 2 days ago, it doesn't matter. The work table, definitely not yesterday. This thing is heavy. It is heavy and solid. It's very, I don't want to say well built because that sounds very self-pleasing kind of a comment, but no, I just realized since there's no shelves in here yet, I can go inside of it and walk around with it like a skirt. In theory, might be easier to carry. Yeah, it's easier to carry, except that there's a million obstacles I have to get around. Reminds me of that chubby dwarf that gets stuck in the barrel in the Hobbit movies, and he pulls out his axes and starts spinning around. Okay, that's heavy. Hard to get out of here though. The cool thing is this thing is pretty sturdy. I don't know if I would jump up and down on it, but I can definitely climb up on it without worrying. Okay, so now I need to figure out what's the bottom and what's the top. Technically doesn't really matter, but I think this is the bottom, which is convenient because next thing I'm going to do is try to get these wheels on. All right, so need a drill. Not really sure exactly what I need, honestly. I do know I need a drill, but I need a bigger drill bit than I've been using because I've got some, I think they're called lag bolts, is that right? I don't know, my brain feels like it's making stuff up, but I think that's what they're called. They're just a lot stronger than your average screws. I decided it was important enough to make sure that these casters, the wheels, are connected very securely. And I was originally just going to use regular screws like I've been using for the rest of the project, but I decided to do it a little bit better than that. The issue I have today is I have to decide how to attach them. Like this plate is a little bit too big for trying to attach it like this. I feel like the screws will be way too close to the edges and they could split the wood. So I was kind of playing around and I found this angle here where things aren't quite as close to the edges of things, but it's still not great. But it's either that or I could attach another board here to give me something to secure to, like over this way. None of the options are great, but I think I'm going to go with this weird angle. Honestly, it's not very, what's the word? It's not the usual way to do things, but I think it's a creative solution and I think it will be sufficient. So here's my lag bolts that I got. Unconventional, yes, that is definitely the word I was looking for. Thank you. Thank you, Link. I am making a work table. I don't remember if you were here in the previous stream where I was making progress on this, or if this is the first time you've seen this project. Okay, that right there is the perfect position. I need pencil. Oh yeah, I keep forgetting I need to get my pencil sharpener out here. I have an electric pencil sharpener hidden away somewhere. I don't know where. I'd like to find it because I haven't been using these regular wood pencils much on this project because I don't have a way to sharpen them, but I know I have a sharpener somewhere. I have to find it. Okay, so making the marks so I know where to drill the holes without having to worry about moving this around. Pretty thick screws. Yeah, I have 3 of this shirt. When I saw it on sale years ago, I was like, okay, if I don't get more than one of these, I'm going to regret it later because the shirts don't last that long and it's a good price. So I bought 3 of them, so I wear these quite a bit. But it's actually not a very good quality shirt. It kind of, little screen print's kind of falling off already. But that's all right. So yeah, these lag bolts, I was talking about getting washers before, but instead of doing that, I just got thick screws that don't require washers. Since these are bigger screws, if I really, really wanted to, I do have some larger washers. The problem was before I was intending to use the regular screws that I had been using for the rest of the project, and the head on them is not big enough to catch on this, so see, it would just go right through. So that's why I needed to get washers, but since I'm not going to use these anymore, I'm using these. I don't need any washers, so it should be good. But if I want it to be super thorough, I do have some bigger washers here. I don't know if I have enough of them for this whole project though. Yeah, these are the right size for these thicker screws. They're just not the right size for those black ones I was using before. Yeah, I don't feel like it's necessary to put washers on these. If I just felt like being Mr. Overkill and stuff, I could do that, but I don't think so. Okay. So I have to figure out what size of holes to pre-drill. I have to get it just right because I want to try to avoid these splitting. Like when I screw these in, I don't want to split the ends of these boards, and it's quite a fair chance that could happen if I don't get this right. So I think there's a science to this, like there's literally an outer and inner dimension that you find out on these screws by looking online or something, but it doesn't say on the screw itself. So I usually just visually look at it and try to get approximately the diameter of the inner shaft, and then the little teeth on the outside are still going to grab, but it's not going to put massive pressure on the wood. Hey, weren't you here before when I was working on this? I thought it was you that was wanting to make a shop. I mean, yeah, you were here when I was working on the loft, I guess. Some of you haven't seen this project, but yeah, okay. So I remember, yeah, it's all coming back to me. I think I might have hit a screw. Yeah, I just remember we had a conversation about you were wanting to build a shed or something. We were talking about all the details. Yeah, should be very sturdy. It sucks though. I could hit the position of another screw, but I can't put the hole where I'd like. It's kind of problematic, but. Very unlucky. Hopefully it's deep enough, otherwise we could have a problem here. Alright, I don't know what I would do in that situation, to be honest. I just have to leave that screw out. Cut the end off of it and so it doesn't go as deep, but never really had that kind of scenario before. Alright, let's hope for the best, see what happens. I really hope I don't split these boards. And maybe should go a slightly larger diameter here. I also need to get some kind of attachment to screw those in, which I think I have somewhere. Let me go see if I can find it. A super old, like really old drill bit set that has some very low quality drill bits. I think it's probably from Harbor Freight or something like that. I think my dad gave it to me some years ago, but it's nothing like terribly wrong with it. Honestly, most tools don't last forever, so the way I see it, it's better to buy something that doesn't cost you massive amounts of money if you're going to have to replace it anyway. There are exceptions, like tools that last 3 times as long but are only, maybe twice as expensive, so in the long run you're saving some kind of money over a long period of time. But drill bits and screwdrivers and stuff like that, I feel like they're almost disposable. So it's better just to get cheap stuff, in my opinion, with some exceptions, of course. All right, so this is the cheapo set that I have, and I think I can use one of these things. And by chance, I got it right, I think. Yeah, as far as I know, this thing will last basically forever. I mean, it's hard for me to imagine it wearing out, but yeah, I never know. I guess it depends on what I end up using it for. This does not have the quick lock thing, so I won't be able to. that one did not split. That's a good sign so far. It's making me nervous though. This one right here that I'm about to drill in is the most risky. It's almost on the edge here, so if it applies too much pressure, it will definitely crack the board. Looks like we're okay so far. I don't tighten any of them until I get all four in so I can position move around this way. I think I got the exact right amount of these lag bolts for this and the next project, but I may have to get more. I realized I might want to add 6 wheels to the next project because it's so big. Might need some support in the center. Okay, we're hitting that screw, I think. If I can go a little bit further in, or I might have to cut that off. I think I'll probably have to cut that off. So it looks like I have to cut about a ½ inch off of there, and then hope that it's. I think that's the wisest thing to do. Let's do that. Let's just assume that's necessary because I'm pretty sure that previous screw is right where it needs to go. But I have just the thing, I believe, to solve this problem. I'll be right back. Well, I might not have a metal cutting blade. I think I do, but I don't know where the previous one I was using is. So I guess I'll have to start a new one because I don't see the old one. Guess I'll bring my hacksaw just in case I have to use that for some reason. I miss my utility scissors. That's another thing I should try to find at that random store, is a pair of utility scissors, because my dad took them with him when he visited, and so I don't have any anymore. I use them constantly, almost every day. I have these ordinary office types craft scissors, and they're just not very strong for cutting like packaging and stuff. So like you know, stuff like this. Oops. It takes quite a hefty scissor to get through these. Oh, I guess they're open. I guess it was kind of broken open already. I didn't notice that. Okay. This one is metal. Should be good. I mean, it's for cutting metal, not... It obviously is metal, but you know what I meant. Oops. Oops, I put it in upside down. Alright, so I guess I should put my eye protection on. I'm wearing my head or earbuds again today, listening to some music. So the last time I did that when I was working, it worked just as good or better than earplugs. Plus I can enjoy some music while I work, so it's kind of cool. So I need some way to grip these. It seems like I had some, I have some clamps out here, but I don't know if that's the way. I think the ideal thing would be a pair of, I don't know what they call them, I guess vice grips. I don't know what the official name of those tools are, but I thought I had one out here, but I don't, so I'm going to go grab one. All this back and forth. That's how I get very little done when I'm working on stuff. Just have to gather all the things. The cool thing is now that there's a shop here, eventually I'll move all my tools out there so they'll all be in one place and I won't have to go back and forth. Or if I need a tool, like when I'm inside the house and I need a tool, I'll know that it's out in the shop, so I just go out there. Okay, where are those things? If I can find a pair of those, because I know I have some. But with all this disruption that I've been doing with these projects, I kind of have tools all over the place. I should just bring my toolbox out here to the shop so it's just one less variable. I'm not necessarily quite ready to start moving stuff into the shop because once it's full of stuff, I can't, it's going to be, the shop is not going to be easy to work on, like to do the projects and stuff, because it'll be full of stuff. So I want to try to get some of these projects done before I fill it with objects. All right, so I'm just going to hold this like freehand. See if we can cut like a ½ inch or so off the end of it. A little bit hard to get the right angle, but we'll figure it out. Actual vise would be very handy in this scenario, but I don't have one. My dad has one, but not here. Just had to get it set into place. Cut off about ½ inch. I'm hoping that's enough. So we'll just have to cut more. And it's not going to go in the hole as easily, that's for sure. Might be a challenge, but I think it'll go in because I pre-drilled the hole. There we go. I think that'll work. Have to tighten all of them. Not sure how much to tighten them. I don't want to over tighten. That one's probably the weakest one because I had to pull it back out and cut it short. go, or I mean 1 down, 3 to go. Not so bad. If I can get that exact placement on all 4 without cracking the wood, I will be quite happy about it. Okay, next. I guess I don't really need these eye protection on anymore. It's super hot outside, so I'm not enjoying having those on. Hopefully I don't run into any other pre-existing screws, but it is certainly possible. There's quite a few screws in these intersections here. Howdy, howdy, double howdy. You're back. Sorry about that wacky IRL stream where everything went wrong, but it was good for a while, and at the end, I don't know how long you hung up. It was an awesome hike, of course, but as usual, out in the field, I often have signal problems, which is all part of the fun of IRL streaming. Wait, what? You just did a live stream and you were muted? Oh, I got one in the chat. Let me read that. Just finished my stream for the evening with my mic off. I didn't even notice until I stopped. Oh no, did you go the entire stream muted? Oh, that's the worst. I hate it when that happens. Man, I hope it was just part of the stream and not the whole thing for your sake, because that's just like maddening. Of course, if you have a good attitude about it, you probably just laugh and try again next time. But I hate it when that happens. I hate it. Okay, that's good. It's better than the whole stream. I've actually done that where it's been pretty much the whole stream on a very large portion of it, because I don't get a lot of people in my chat, so there's nobody there to like tell me that something's wrong a lot of the time. Although lately I've been blessed to have people dropping by and helping me troubleshoot, but it's not always like that. I've learned to kind of just assume no one will be there and kind of do my own troubleshooting beforehand, so I feel at least a little bit secure about it. So what were you streaming? And how, like, have you streamed a lot? Or are you just getting started? Like, have you done it for years? I don't think we talked too much about what you do. Other than I know you do woodworking, but I don't know if you stream it or if you just play games or something else. Oh, nice. Very cool. Did you get anybody drop by and watch and say hi or? Mm-hmm. I'll have to check out. I don't know how big of a channel you have or how long you've been going at it, so hopefully that doesn't sound insulting if you're like a huge successful streamer and you're like, well, of course I had somebody. I don't know. I don't remember which one of these was hitting a screw, but let's just see what happens by trying to force it. Wish I could remember which one it was. Okay, that makes me feel better. Just because I couldn't remember if you had said whether you're a veteran streamer or if you've been doing it for years. Cool. Yeah, mine's pretty small. For lack of trying to do all sorts of crazy creative stuff, but kind of blend in with the background wherever I go. That's all right. That's kind of what I like. I don't really want. I think if my channel started growing, I would feel intimidated and pressured and stressed. So I kind of like being a low-key, small streamer. I think whatever one was hitting a screw, either it's just like powering through because I'm using an impact wrench, or it was just my imagination. So I'm not feeling like it hit me. Yeah, I try not to let that get to me. I used to think that all the time. Like, there's a lot of streamers that don't do anything. Like, 24-hour radio stations, and, like just random stuff. Or people that are just doing stuff that I think is boring. But I just stopped trying to compare myself to other people because, yeah, it can get pretty discouraging. I don't even watch other streams anymore because I don't really. I mean, there's a couple streams I watch, just friends from like 5 years ago, but that's about it. Yeah, there was a period of time where I got kind of not upset, but just really disappointed and discouraged because I know I put a lot more into my streams than even some of the biggest streamers on platforms. They're just, it's really not about your content. I mean, I know that sounds crazy, but it's just, it's more about your personality, which is even more depressing because what that means for people like me is I'm boring and I don't have an interesting personality, so people don't watch. Because people will watch you do whatever, doesn't matter what you're doing, if they like you and think you're cool or whatever. And, I'm old and nobody gives a rip anymore about anything I do, so I just kind of got used to that fact, and it was depressing for quite a while. And then I just realized, you know what? I still enjoy what I do. Doesn't matter. I don't really care if people don't give a rip, and that's fine. Just had to move on with my attitude, self-esteem, or whatever you want to call it. But yeah, I've been through all of those different emotions through the years. It's not easy. It takes a while to wrap your head around all those emotions and stuff. At least it did for me. And it comes and goes too. Every once in a while I start thinking like, wait a minute, I'm doing cool stuff. Why does nobody watch this? Why does nobody watch my channel? It's like, but I just remember what I learned from the past. Just turned my thinking cap on. It's like, no, we've been through this, Flo. We know what the streaming world is like after 5 years. And we know what it takes to succeed, and I refuse. That is, you're the first person besides myself. I've been saying that exact thing for 5 years. I'm like kind of bored of hearing myself say it, but that's exactly what I've said for so many years. I think it's even it still says something like that on my about section on some platforms. I stream to stay motivated with my projects because it's kind of encouraging to think that somebody might be there watching. Yeah, exactly. You get it. I don't even need to explain it. You said exactly what I've been saying for years. Exactly. I get you, man. And that's kind of how I was able to push through some of the discouragement. Like, whatever, nobody watches me, but I'm getting stuff done. I'm like getting a bunch of cool stuff done. And I'm being productive and creative. And so who cares if people don't find it interesting? I hate how drills wander. Like I need some kind of guide to keep it in place. Been tempted to get one of those portable drill prep widget things or jigs. Has that kind of press down thing. It's super annoying when you have your drill in the exact spot and it just starts like wiggling to the side. So far I haven't hit any screws on this one. Kind of figured that one's right in the center, the dead center, whereas I've been drilling with the other screw. So I will have to cut that one short almost for sure. I have to remember which one that is so I don't like force it and then end up splitting the wood there or something. It was this one. Well, I know it was that one. Sure how much I need to cut off, so I'm going to drill it in until it hits, and then I can see how much is still sticking out. About that much, almost an inch. I don't really understand how or what's going on, but I think I could actually somehow force it through that screw. I don't know what's happening. How that's possible, but it seems like if I just kept pushing with the impact driver, it would just somehow cut through that other screw or something. I don't know, because on that other one where I was having the same issue, I somehow got through it. Okay, there we go. This is kind of a challenge, but you can do it. Just have to be careful not to cut myself. Should pick up those pieces of screws. Those could end up in somebody's tires. I don't know where the first one is. I see one of them. I should have thought of that. Hopefully I can find both of them. 3 down, 1 to go. I think we will. Well, I don't think I'm going to finish this this whole thing because I still need to put the plywood on. I might have to do some weird cuts with that. There's an object I do not want to lose. I was spending a bunch of time the other day looking for this thing. It's like the stopper for my cutoff saw. I'm going to put it in there right now just while I'm thinking about it. Kind of keeps the blade down and locked when you're not using it. Need to be more thoughtful of like when I drop a thing or something, I need to pick it up right away so I don't forget where I dropped it. This screw is digging itself deeper into the gravel as I'm seeking it. Need a little garbage pail out here so I have a place to put little junk like this. I don't know where the other one is. It might be on the table somewhere. Probably. I'll just kind of hope and assume that it is because I don't really know where it fell otherwise. Okay, so one more wheel on this. And then I'll turn it upside down. I probably have to take it in the shop because I don't want to roll these outside. These are not really outdoor wheels. It would just get a bunch of dust and dirt in the bearings and stuff. So this is not intended to be an outdoor table. Let's see. What was I doing? Drilling. Actually measuring the hole position first. Which sounds a lot like pole position, which is a very old video game. Where'd my pencil go? How did I lose it? It's right here in front of my face. Like I said, I want to get a whole pack of pencils. I only have a couple pencils like hanging around, and it's easy to lose them in there. Probably dropped it on the ground, I guess. Silly things. I think maybe I can find that mechanical pencil I was using a couple days ago. All right. I don't know if you're still here, Jason, but if you are, do you like sell your stuff, or is it just a hobby that you make stuff for your own interests or gifts for friends and family? I don't really expect that you're still here, but if you are, there's a question for you. Okay, let's get this one lined up. Really? I mean, you sound like more than a beginner to me. Like if you're making some pretty advanced stuff, like, or at least you're trying to anyway. Are you teaching yourself by YouTube, or is like your dad into woodworking? He's helping you out, or how are you going about? How are you learning? Oh, okay, that's cool. Well, that sled thing. Same here. It's awesome. Yeah, DIY is awesome. It's so fun. You mentioned something about a sled, so that sounded more like an actual project rather than just stuff for your shop, but maybe I misunderstood. Uh-oh. I hit a screw, but I somehow weaved around the side of it. I think that one will be okay. Oh, okay, okay. Gotcha. Yeah, I need to make some stuff for my table saw. I don't remember if you were here when I was struggling with my table saw, but it is not a good setup. Problem with me is I don't really do a lot of woodworking, so it's not something that I have my shop set. I don't intend to set my shop up for woodworking. I'm doing woodworking to set up my shop, so it's kind of the opposite, which sort of sounds like what you're doing too, but maybe in your case, you're actually setting it up to do future woodworking projects. For me, I'm just like setting up my shop to do other things. So it won't necessarily, even though I'm doing all this work, it won't necessarily be better for woodworking after I'm done. It'll be better for the other goals that I'm trying to achieve. Screw on that one pretty early too, so hopefully I can get deep enough grip on the screw that I'm putting in before I have to cut it short, and I have to cut it like a lot shorter than the other ones I was working with, I think. Yeah, I would like to have a table where my table saw is just set in the middle of it. So there's like this giant table and the table saw is just like flush with the top of the table. That would be amazing. I've never had like a proper place for my table saw, but my table saw is kind of junk, so I don't know that I would invest all that time and products into it. Rather have a really nice table saw that I fit into a work table or something. One of the things I've always wanted to have is a router, or even a router table, or like a router table that you could take the router out of and use if you needed to. So it's kind of multi-purpose. I think that would be cool. Okay, I think we're hitting right there, so not going in very deep, unfortunately. To cut a lot off that screw. Over an inch, I think. Yo, ZJ, clapping for Jason. You're clapping for Jason. I figured it out. There's no way. Nobody claps for me, so don't even get that in your mind. That's just like a joke and a half. Maybe you're clapping for the music though. That's probably more realistic. Nice. All right, cool. Thanks for dropping by, Jason. I will try to remember to check out your channel. It'd be nice to see your replay. I'll try to remember to do that after my stream tonight. Have a good night. Contact inspiration, nice. It's not even a term I would know to use. I would just say inspiration. I'm not familiar with contact information. Not familiar with the contact inspiration thing. Okay, let's see what we can do. All right, let's pick that one up since I saw where it went. Still missing one. Oh, I see the other one. There it is. Sweet. Got all three. I don't know if I cut that short enough. and we'll give it a try. I will eventually have a vise that's attached to my work table in there, not for woodworking per se, but for other things, and then I can use it for stuff like this. Mosquitoes. I can use that vise for mosquitoes, like spin it around and get it to be like just the size of a mosquito and wait for one to fly in there and just like close it up really quick. It's pretty much what vices are for. Alright, I think I cut it short enough. It's probably not a very good grip on there, but it's gonna have to do. This impact driver doesn't have a pressure release thing that I'm aware of, so it just keeps blasting, and so it's kind of hard to tell when you've reached the limit of how far it's going to go, because it'll just keep going. I wish it had sort of a tension or pressure release thing like my other cordless drill has. That way you can set it to some number, and as soon as it reaches that tension, it just releases the drill action. Okay. We are ready to turn this thing upright, and if I'm going to keep going, I'm going to put it in the shop, so I need to move the camera in. I'll probably work on cutting stuff for it, but I might not. I don't know. I'll see. I'll just do this first and then figure out what I'm doing. Guess I can change my camera angle in anticipation. Not sure if I'll be back out here cutting stuff or if I'm going to be inside. Mostly, probably a little bit of both, so I'll just kind of go somewhere in between. Oh, shoot. And my video is getting dark, like I mentioned. If the sun goes down when I have it on manual exposure, it's not going to compensate anymore. Yeah, it's not actually getting dark. I set my camera on manual exposure because I don't like how it just jumps around all the time. But I am going to bump up the exposure now, and then it won't look so dark. Yep. I mean, it is dark. It is darker than it was before, that's for sure, but I can compensate. I just wasn't. I kind of forgot that I did that. It's kind of a pain. You either have it bouncing up and down with AI responsiveness, which is super distracting, looks terrible, I don't like it, or you have it set manually, but then if I forget to change it when it gets darker, it'll just not look good either, so whatever. Okay, let's get this inside. Oh, it's heavy. Ugh. I think I added like 50 pounds just with those wheels. It didn't seem like it was this heavy before. All right, check it out. It moves around like a charm. Oops, except that this lock is on. Now we're moving around freely. Okay, so now I can move my camera a little bit. I can see clearly now, the dark is gone. Yep, it's one of the few songs that I know. I don't know any modern music, but I know the old classics. That's kind of cool. Look at that. Like a perfect angle here, a perfect angle there. It's like 4 quadrants of color. It's like a perfect layout. Except, oh yeah. All right. Okay, so the next thing I need to do is get my, you're not going to be able to see this super well, but I'll just leave it where it's at because I'm going to be doing stuff in here and outside, so I'll just kind of put the camera somewhere in the middle. So I have pre-cut some pieces to 24 by 48, which should theoretically fit on the bottom and middle shelf, except that I have to cut out some weird little shapes to make it happen, which I'll show in a minute. Okay, so let me measure it first. Not really going to be able to see this, but I'll just describe it as I'm doing it if I can find the measuring tape. Thought I left it out here. Pocket? No. Probably right in front of my face, though. Must have put it in here. Oh, there it is. Okay. So you may or may not see this, but 24 inches is from the outside of that board to the outside of this one. But there's an interruption right here, so I have to cut the little angle off because I'm going to have the board come out this way. I think 48 is actually, yeah, to the end of the whole thing. To the end of there, to the end of this. It's actually a little bit more than 40. I cut this whole thing a little bit short, so I can cut a little bit off of the board, I guess, if I want to. So let's figure out what the distance is between these two areas here. It's like 41 approximately, a little bit less than 41. This is going to be a little bit challenging to cut these out right. I might have to do it in a couple passes. I'm going to go in like 41 or 40 and 7/8 or something like that. So I don't even know how exact these are either. They might not be exactly 24 by 48. This is going to be a little bit trial and error, I think. Let's also measure this here. It's like 21. That's good. That's nice and clean, I think. Kind of want to sit down. I do have a chair over there, but yeah, we'll just deal with it. Okay, so 21 in the center, which means, yeah, this is not exactly 24, so I'm going to try to do 1.5 inches on each side, approximately. I'll just go right here. Put it up at the top somewhere. Then we can test whether this thing's actually square. Pretty decent. That's what I don't like about mechanical pencils, the leads break too easily. I need to get some more appropriate pencils for this kind of thing. Okay, so 1.5 over here also. Also wick. If you get that reference, then congratulations. 1, 2, 3. I didn't measure something right. What am I doing? 1, 2, 3. Oh. All right. So I already forgot what the other measurement for the length was. So let's just, I think it was 40 7/8. Let's double check. It's been too long since I've said that out loud. Don't trust my memory. 40 7/8. Okay. Gotta do a little bit of math here. I think this is pretty close to 48. Let's check. Pretty close. So let's take off 48. I'm gonna have to use a phone. There's no way I'm gonna do this right. $48 minus, no, I can't even remember things for like 3 seconds. 7 divided by 8 because I can't do fractions. 0.875 is what I need to remember. 0.875. 48 minus 40.875 equals 7 1/8. Divide that by 2. 3 9/16. So arbitrary. I can't stand inches. They're so terrible. 3 9/16 is how much I need to cut off in this dimension, or in this side. 3. 1, 2, 3 9/16. 1, 2, 3, 4. I guess that's 1/2. All right, there. That, probably can't see this, but I'm going to cut this little corner piece off to fit in between the boards, and I need to do that on all 4 corners. 3 9/16. 1, 2, 3. I should probably cut off a little bit more, because if I do it like to the exact, it'll probably not be big enough, but we're gonna take a chance. I forgot how much this was though. This was 1.5 inches. Okay, that's easy to remember. Okay, if anybody said anything since CJ said, oh yeah, I missed it because my phone is stupid. Like, I didn't turn it off. I have it to always stay on. I have an app that keeps it on all the time, and for some reason it turned off. I don't know why. When that happens, I tend to miss chat messages. Okay, let's just make this easier for me. Half, 1.5 inches this direction. I think we've determined that this square is trustworthy, so I'll just trust that that's straight across. And then we do 3 9/16 this way. 1, 2, 3 9/16. I'm just going to use my Sawzall for this. There might be some. I could use a jigsaw also. Actually, I think I'd have more control with a jigsaw. I might go get my jigsaw. I don't think I'm going to finish this project tonight. Not even close. 1, 2, 3, 9/16. Is that right? Well, 1, 2, 3, and 9/16, I guess so. Just looks smaller than the other one. Optical illusion. Okay, 1.5 inches this way. Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna go get my jigsaw. I think it'll be a lot more precise. I mean, this is a good tool for this job. I mean, it would totally work. I just don't really trust it for some reason. Maybe I think I can be satisfied. It doesn't have to be exact, and it should be good. Let's just try it. Let's see, then we'll know. Oh, I need to. I have a metal cutting blade on there. Let's get the wood back on there. It's always a good idea to take the battery out, just make sure I don't accidentally hit the trigger and cut myself. All right, here we go. I'm gonna cut a tiny bit extra off. Wish I had this clamped down to something. I hope it doesn't like go out of control here. That actually felt pretty good. Like I had decent amount of control over it, so yeah, I feel good about that. I don't use the Sawzall that much. I've used it in the past more for like destructive things, like cutting things that don't need to be precise, and I actually did some demolition on a house. I don't remember what the circumstances were, but just had to cut things apart, and I didn't really have to use it as a precise measuring tool, so I'm not really experienced with this, but it seems to be doing the trick. Just can't see. Like that. It's actually not much different than a jigsaw, really. It's basically the same principle. Might have even a little bit, I don't know if I'd say more control, but it's just a bigger, weightier mass of a thing, so it has a different feel to it than a jigsaw. I don't necessarily dislike it. It's not bad. Get used to it, I'm sure. I've used these saws before, I just haven't used it for much precision stuff. Can't see my mark is the problem. I don't like that. And I did go a little bit crooked, but let's see if I can fix it. I think I sort of course corrected there. Might have to shave a little bit off. That's not bad though. Okay. Yeah, I wish I would have got an earlier start, but I actually feel really good about today because like I mentioned earlier at the beginning of the stream, I made that huge trek into town, and that's something that I don't do very often. It's not a small task. It's something I do very rarely because of the expense and time it takes to get into towns. So I feel like I got something really useful accomplished, but as far as the project goes, I only just got stuff for the project. I probably won't get much done on the project, but that's all right. I hope I measured this stuff right. I think I did. I might have to use my table saw to cut the length a little bit because my table is not quite 48 inches wide because I had to compromise at some point and cut something short. I don't recall when, but I know I did at some point. Sometimes you have to cut the end of something off, or the width of the saw blade takes away from your material when you're running exact measurements. That can make all the difference in the world. I hope this stuff isn't that fragile because I'm sort of slamming these corners a little bit. There's a smaller hardware store chain around here that recently went out of business. Some stores came back under a slightly different name. Is that from the COVID response stuff? We lost a lot of businesses. Kind of makes me angry. All those lives greatly disturbed, and I'm not going to get into the politics of it all, but I don't think we did the right thing as a society, but whatever. It's in the past, can't change it. It's not too hard. Not going exactly perfectly straight, but you know, that's close enough. One of the stores that didn't come back were selling even their shelves, complete liquidation. Yeah, we lost so many businesses during those years. Sad. Really cherished businesses that are part of all of our memories and history and everything, they're just gone forever. It's like, no. But I guess that happens, technically that happens all throughout history. You know, businesses come and go, and so it's just a cycle that it's always going to be there, but I just feel like it happened way too much in the last 4 years or so. Here I am trying to start a business. It's kind of scary that I don't really know if it'll work out or not. If it doesn't work out, I don't really have a plan X. Like, I'm not even on plan D at this point. We've already gone through plan M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V. I don't even know what letter I'm on anymore, but I hope this thing works out. Otherwise, I'm just going to be very, very clueless as to what to do with my future. Just put it that way. Okay. So let's hope that this fits in here. I think I'm going to have to cut the end off of it though. That's great. Look at that. I mean, it's not like crazy tight or anything, but I'd rather have it, you know, fit and be a little bit loose because I'm gonna be screwing it down anyway, so it'll be great. Woohoo! Success. I don't have to cut it twice. That's why it's a success. It might not look perfect around the edges. I could have like got it a little bit tighter, but I'm not too worried about that. I'm just happy it goes in there the first try. And actually, it's not too long. I don't really understand why, but I don't think I have to cut the ends off. Kind of mysterious, but I'm not gonna complain about that right now because that's kind of a good thing. Well, let's clamp it down and start. I could put glue on the bottom, but I'm not going to. I think there's a slight chance that in the future I might want to remove this, and if I glue it, it would be more difficult to remove. So I am just going to screw it down, then I can remove the screws and replace it if someday I choose to use a different kind of surface, or this one gets kind of rugged or messed up. I can replace it. Looking for my other clamp. I thought I had it out here, but I don't see it. It's probably on the table. See. Sorry, I missed these chat messages because the stupid text-to-speech turned off all on its own. I had my eye on this one tall wood metal multi-shelf thing on caster wheels, but it was still more than what I could afford. Took a picture of it. At least maybe one day I can make it myself. Yeah, if it's metal, it's better to buy them. Metal is expensive. It is expensive to make your own stuff. Whoa. Wood is the only way to, in my opinion, wood is the only way to affordably make your own stuff. Like, you just go like to some hardware store and look at one like square metal bar to think, oh, I can make a whole shelf out of it. Like, just the stupid single metal square bar is like $40. Like, are you serious? Are you kidding me? So I don't know. And there's probably places like besides hardware stores to get cheaper metal, but like, yeah, it's expensive. I don't know how they make that stuff so affordable. Like, if you can get a nice rolling shelf for like $100, like that sounds like a lot of money to spend, but it's a bargain compared to how much you spend like buying all that metal and buying like a welding tool and, you know, all that stuff that you'd have to do to put it together. It's like ridiculous. It's annoying to me because I really want to get into doing stuff with metal, but it's prohibitively expensive. It's absurdly expensive. So it's confusing how they can mass produce these things for so cheap when it would cost you like 6 times as much to make it yourself. It's just like, and that's just the cost of making it. I'm not talking about like trying to sell it or anything. That's just ridiculous. Okay, so what was I doing? I was looking for my clamp. I got distracted because I was behind on chat. And I don't like to be behind on chat. And that old phone has a mind of its own. I can't wait to get the new phone probably tomorrow, and I'll have a few less headaches regarding streaming. I mean, I'll still, don't get me wrong, I'll still have plenty of outtakes and bloopers for my IRL streams. It's not going to solve all my problems, but it will definitely help a few things. Okay, so I can't find my red clamp. I was looking for the red clamp, so I'm going to just use another one because I don't know where the where it is. And we're just going to clamp this in place. Oops. Oh, this is that garbage clamp that doesn't work. Oh, I need to just throw it away. So somewhere I have one that actually works. I should check the lighting on the camera again. It's probably even darker again. So I need to either up the exposure or just turn it on to auto exposure because it's probably pretty dark. It's actually not bad, but you can't really see inside the shop. You just see outside lighting. I'm not going to pretend that that's like perfect alignment. I'm probably going to say something like it's good enough. I don't even think this can open up big enough to clamp onto that. Nope, I'll have to use my giant clamp. Actually, I have another smallish one here. Okay, that's not going to move anywhere now. I might need to push it over to the other side a little bit because it's poking out this side a little bit and not poking out on this other side. So yeah, doesn't have to be perfect, but I want it to at least be centered. There's no reason to settle for sloppiness. Where is my rubber mallet? Probably on the table out there. Don't see it though. There it is. I think that's pretty good. Except it needs to come this way just a tad. I think that's about as good as we can get. Now we just go crazy with drilling. I'm not even going to pre-drill these holes. I think we're going to be okay without pre-drilling. These are short 1.25 inches, maybe 1.5 inches. I think they're 1.25 inches. I don't believe it's necessary to pre-drill. What is necessary is to use some super-powered high-tech technique to get this thing out of here, though, because it's completely jammed in there. Alrighty. I might end up, this is hanging over a little bit, which is totally fine, but if I wanted to be like super perfect about it, I'd put a 1-inch strip around here, just down here, so that this would be supported from underneath. But it's only overhanging like 1 inch, so I think it'll be strong enough to withstand that amount of force. I mean, there's not really going to be anything pushing down on the edge necessarily unless I step up on the shelf at that point or something. You never know, I might do that. I'm gonna put a lot of screws in this, I think. Technically, I only need to put one on each corner pretty much, but I'm gonna put a bunch of screws in here. Hope I didn't miss that. Felt like it went in way too easily that time. That was weird. It'd be pretty sad if I missed. I can visually line it up with the other screws. It can't be that far off. Oh, can't wait till I get this all arranged. It's going to be a long time, but I'm making some progress, and that's encouraging. So you can see how tall this is. Like if I'm at just kind of relaxed standing height, my hands will be right on the top of this, which is what I wanted. And I will be able to get a rather tall, I wouldn't call it a stool, but like an office chair that rises up pretty high for like a bar height. I'll get a chair like that so I can either sit or stand at it. That was my intention from the beginning, but it's kind of designed for my specific height, so I don't know how it would do for other people. Like my mom is shorter than I am, and might feel a little bit tall for her, but this is for specifically for my use, business type situation. So I designed it kind of for my own comfort. I'm not going to be getting any taller, or probably not too much shorter. I might get a little bit shorter as I age, but probably not any taller. Certainly not any taller, I should say. Oh man, music, amazing. I'm listening to amazing music again. It's not the music you're listening to. That was sloppy. Oh, seriously? Seriously? Are you kidding me? I wonder if I have something that is a lot less thick, but that same length. That would be perfect for what I'm trying to accomplish here. Maybe a paint stick, paint stirring stick would be the exact right thing. It's one of my favorite songs. It's a remix of a Sonic the Hedgehog track. I think, yeah. It's awesome. Amazing. All right, got those two ends in. I'm still gonna put screws along this edge, of course. This is going to be so sturdy, it's unbelievable. All right, so now I need a longer measuring. I guess I could just eyeball it if I put my long measuring stick here, which I don't know where I put that. It's around here somewhere, I know that. Here's a stick that might, right? A little short. What a song! What a song, man! There we go. I don't need these clamps on here anymore, so I can get those out of my way. I'm just using this board to find the center line of the board that I'm trying to screw in, so I'm consistent, not moving those screws all over the place. Just want it to look way decent. This screwdriver is not technically the right size of Phillips for this these screws. It's like falling out. Either that or there's a bunch of debris in the screw. Call it screw head recess area. Should put little marks on this. That would make it like even more consistent and nice. Maybe I should, just for fun. Tape measure. Why not? Why not, man? It would actually save time in the long run because I'm trying to make it look nice, and if I already knew where the screws should be, I could just zip them in real quick. And I can't find my tape measure again. Where is it? What? Oh, there it is. This thing is exactly 36 inches long by chance. Very unlikely, but it's unlikely because it's broken. It's not like I cut it at that length. It's literally broken on the end, but it's pretty much exactly 36 inches. Okay, here's my pencil. So we're going to put one right in the middle. This is going to be my ruler. Here. Got one there, half between 18 and 36. Actually, let's do every 6 inches. 18, 24, and 30. We got 12, and we got 6. There we go. Now we can use this on any side, any board in the future. Just have to put it more or less in the center and then place my screws on those marks, and it'll look nice and consistent. Not that anybody cares about this kind of stuff, but just at the point where I overthinking everything for some reason. It's amazing how little things like this can really make a project look more professional. Like even though it's kind of hacked together with cheap materials, if you really do your measurements carefully and make it consistent, and do all your cuts really nice, it even looks really cheap material. It's a lot nicer that way. I don't always do that. Like earlier in the project, I wasn't being that careful to make everything evenly spaced or whatever. All right, now the other side will be a lot faster because I have my measuring jig all ready to go. I guess I can move this closer. There's no reason to be that far away. Not sure if it's still on auto exposure. I mean, if it's still on manual exposure or if it reset when I change the camera. It doesn't matter, but okay. Here's my little perfect 36-inch stick with marks every 6 inches that I'm going to use to put the rest of the screws. More or less center it. And then I'm placing it the distance from the edge where I want to put the screws, so I can just put the screws right up against it. We're not going for absolute perfection here. We're just going for like generally really pretty close to perfect, but like I'm not measuring every single position. I'm just kind of getting pretty close. Alright, so put a screw on each mark right up next to the board, like so. Actually, that's a little bit farther in than it needs to be. Let's push that in a little bit. Went a little bit, got a little excited on that one, pushed it in a little too far, and it made the measuring stick get pushed back because of the head of the screw pushing it back. Kind of hard not to screw really fast with the impact driver because it's so powerful. Barely tap the trigger and it goes crazy. Alright, that shelf is completely finished. I just have to do the same thing down there, exactly the same thing down there. This top one, instead of being down inside where this board is, I'm going to have it come all the way out a little bit further on the top here. So it'll be a little bit different. So the top, instead of being 24 inches wide is going to be 27 because we got 1.5 here and 1.5 here. Add those together, we get 3. 24 is to the edge of this board. So on the top, I'm going to go a little bit wider, have a little bit of overhang on the top. So, and then I might, haven't decided yet, but to support that overhang, I might put a 2x4 in here somewhere, either all the way across or just in the center. I think I probably will do that because since this is the top shelf, there's more of a chance that I might lean on it, or even there might be times when I need to step up on it to reach something in the shed. Just use it as kind of a ladder or footstool. And so if the edge is not supported, I could end up breaking the edge of the surface. So if this is underneath it, it'll be very strong, obviously. But I can put the surface on first, and then I can put this up underneath it later, and then screw in here to attach it to this one, and I'll probably glue that as well. So that's going to be one of the next things that I probably do, but in the meantime, I'm going to try to get one more shelf done if I can, but I don't know if I'll get the top done because I don't actually have the 27-inch piece cut for the top. I just have the 24-inch ones for the bottom and middle shelves, and then I still have to cut those weird shapes out of the side of them, which I might just assume. I might just use the same measurements as I did for the first one, even though it's always wise to check to see if each board is the same, if you really want to get a tight fit. But I'm pretty happy with. There's a little bit of gap between the plywood and the post here, but it's so minimal. No, the length is accurate. So ironically, if you buy a 4x8 piece of plywood, it's actually 4 feet by 8 feet. If you buy an 8-foot long board, it's 8 feet exactly, or pretty close. If you buy a 10-foot long board, it's 10 feet. If you buy a 20-foot long board, it's 20 feet. The thing that is not the same as the description is the thickness and the width of the board. So this right here, all of these are 2x4s, but it's actually 1.5 inches this direction and 3.5 inches this direction. So a 2x4 is 1.5 by 3.5, but the length is actually accurate. So whatever they say the length is, that's what it should be. But and same on these kind of boards. The length and the width are accurate. It's truly 4 feet wide by 8 feet tall. The thickness is not accurate. So, for example, this is 5/8 plywood, like it's called 5/8 inch plywood, or OSB to be more specific. This weird stuff with all the smashed particles of scraps of board, that's called OSB. Yeah, so the thickness is not accurate. This is not truly 5/8. I think it's, I want to say it's 7/16. No, that's not right. I don't remember. I think it's some other number of 16ths or 32nds. One that I do know because I recently purchased this. If you buy 3/4 inch plywood, it's actually 23 32nds, not 3/4. Anyway, yeah, it's dumb. It's really stupid. So you have to, if you're building something that needs to be a very specific size, you actually need to take all of that into consideration. Don't think you're buying 2x4s. You're buying 1.5s by 3.5s. It's the same for other sizes, like a 2x6 is 1.5 by 5.5. I think they're all like that, but I'm not totally sure. So for example, I'm guessing a 2x8 is 1.5 by 7.5. and so on, but don't quote me on that. But I do know that a 2x4 is 1.5 by 3.5, a 2x6 is 1.5 by 5.5, and I'm guessing they're all a 1/2 inch short, but I'm not 100% sure on that. Okay. Let me draw all those weird angles that I drew on other things so I can cut this with the Sawzall. Get a better angle here too. Don't actually remember what those measurements were, so I'm gonna base it off of this little piece that I cut off. I could probably just trace those and be close enough, but I'll just look at it and see if I can figure out what those measurements were. I do know that it was 1.5 wide, which, yeah, I cut these a little bit big, so I'm gonna try to get more accurate this time because I don't think the gap needs to be as big as I made it. So we're gonna do 1.5 that way. There's my square. Where did it go? It's gotta be around here. Not that many places it could be. Ooh, it's hot. It's very muggy. Oh, I forgot I had a drink out here. Man, I should be drinking some water, man. Where's my, there it is. Technically, I mean, I have the means to do it, so why not, right? Why not make this a little bit better for any very few and far between viewers, but even just for ZJ alone. I have a light in here, so I may as well use it. Not that I expect CJ to be sitting here for hours on end or anything, but even for the sake of the replay is looking a little bit better, we can make it happen. If I can find the end of this cord, wherever it's plugged into. Doesn't make much difference, but that's all right. All right. Get more drinkage. We're taking 1.5 off this way, and I don't remember what this was. Some number of 16ths. Let's see if I can refresh my memory. 1, 2, 3, and 9/16. Just remembered. Okay. Oh, should be using some kind of more obvious pencil, like a colored pencil or something. I can barely see those marks when I'm cutting with that saw. That's why I wasn't able to get a super straight cut. Too bad this isn't exactly the size. I literally would just trace this. I wonder if one of the other ones that I cut just happens to be like a better, closer cut. And I could just trace for all the others, save a little bit of time. I think they're all kind of crooked, so I think I'll just measure them all. But yeah, that's the kind of time-saving stuff that you can do. Like you can make a little piece of paper or cardboard the right size, which I probably should do, just honestly, just to save time. I'm gonna go do that. Get a piece of cardboard, cut it to size, and then use it as a jig. You talked me into it. I do this kind of stuff when I'm book binding, so I may as well use these kind of tricks when I'm doing this as well. It's just time saving. Nothing really magical about genius about it or anything. It's just basic repetition. Whenever you're repeating a process more than a few times, it can save quite a bit of time in the long run. Nice if I had a white marking pencil. That would be awesome, and I could really see these marks. I think I do somewhere, but I don't know where it is. What is your personal opinion about the shed door being centered on one wall and on the longer wall too, and not a shorter end? Oh man, I could talk about that for hours. It really depends on the intention of your stuff, what you're going to use the shed for. I wouldn't put it in the exact center. So here's what I did. Like here, I can't see it. You can't even see on this. Where is my clipboard? I don't know where it is. That's weird. I thought it was here. Apparently not. I must have taken it inside or something. That's weird. Oh, here it is. It all depends on how much space you have to work with and what you want to use the space for, but here's what I did. Where's that big Sharpie? I have a Sharpie in here somewhere. Doing a Napoleon Dynamite sigh because it's so irritating when I can't find stuff. Here the sun is, it won't be okay. And there the shade is better. Well, I think I'll see it with this. If you put it in the exact center, then you can't have a bigger side. So like, especially if it's not very wide, your door is dividing your space. So if you ever wanted to have a wall to divide it into rooms or something, you're stuck having one small room and one big room. However, if you put it off to kind of to one side, you can have two equal size rooms, where you have a little bit more flexibility on how you divide it. That's kind of the line of reasoning that I came to. If you don't need to divide it, then maybe that doesn't matter. And also, if you ever want to drive vehicles into it, we didn't have that concern. But yeah, it might make sense to put a big double door or garage door on the long end of it. I mean the short end of it. Something like that. I don't know, it just depends on what you want to do. To me, when I thought about this being in the center and not being able to divide the space logically, that's why I put the door over to the side a little bit so I could split it in half. Okay. Hopefully that makes sense. And hopefully it wasn't so much glare that you couldn't see. Okay, let's make a jig here. And I don't mean dance jig. Dancing is not one of my talents. I can assure you that much. Okay, 3 and 9/16. 1, 2, 3 and 9/16. Okay, check this out. Alright, I need a place to cut this so I don't cut into my board space, top, whatever you want to call it. I need a piece of garbage board, which I just happen to have right here. Okay, so I'm cutting a piece of cardboard the exact size of the thing I want to cut out. I know this is not rocket science, you're already like 10 steps ahead, you already understand what I'm doing, but maybe not everybody that's watching this understands, and maybe not later if somebody watches this like 5 years from now. So I'm using the utility knife to cut this little piece. I really wish I had a white wax, a white grease pencil, kind that you can write on glass or other surfaces. It writes white, and I would be able to see the marking on this board a lot better. Okay, so this piece of cardboard is exactly 1.5 inches wide and 3 and 9/16, which is the amount that I need to cut out of each corner. So then I can just take my trusty pencil that I've lost conveniently. I think I do actually have a white marking pen. I'm gonna go see if I can find it real quick because I think I know where it is actually. I am a crafter after all, so I do have odd things like that, when most people do not. Finding it might be a challenge though. I have a general idea of where it is. It's not there, or I think the other thing is that some of my supplies are very old, not because I've used them a lot, but it's like I've let my hobbies kind of lapse and whatever the word for lapse is, die off. I don't know, that's a little extreme, but I don't practice my hobby that much anymore, and so some of my supplies have been sitting for 10 years. And the ink dries up. It's still full of ink, but it just doesn't work anymore. All right. Found it. Let's see. I don't know if this is going to work, but we're going to try it. If it doesn't work, I'll just use a pencil. This is not a grease pencil, so it's probably not going to work. Nope, it did not work. Okay, I do have somewhere in the deep recesses of all my supplies, I have a thing that would work. And I'm going to go find it because I think I know where it is. Just because if I find it once, then I'll have it. And I can use it again and again and again. It's not just for this one single use. Think I know where it is. Hot in here. Legitimately hot. Woo! Wow, it's hot. May or may not be able to find that. I found one that will probably work, but it's not going to actually know where that one is. thought I had handy. It's not exactly where I thought it was. I found a bag of tricks that might contain it. I have several options to choose from. And we'll just see which one works the best. Because I know what works on like dark papers and stuff for crafting and stuff, but I've never written on wood before. First time for everything. We're learning this together. What kind of pens write on wood? There's ones that you can buy from the store that's what they're made for, but I don't have one of those, but I have a bunch of different kind of crafting pens and stuff, and we'll just find out which one works. Got metallic Sharpies, which I have no idea if those will work. I guess it's not that great, but we'll try it. You can kind of see it, but that's not good enough for me. I want to be able to see it really well, so when I'm cutting, I don't. I got a Faber-Castell Pitt Artist Pen, which is white. It's like paint. That's pretty good. I don't know if you can see that, but it's really thick, that's the thing. But I think if I cut in the inside the line, that would be pretty accurate. And then I've got this other acrylic paint pen, which is probably the best of all, but that actually looks pretty good. I think I can probably work with that. And I'm going to use my jig to mark all the corners so I can see them a little bit better when I'm cutting. See how much time I save? I don't have to measure anything at this point. I'm just like tracing, and I'm using a very visible pen. So even though that took a while to set up, once it's done, it's like, oh, I just saved a ton of time. Probably move this camera inside now because I don't know how much really outdoor stuff I'm going to be doing at this point. And you can really see what I'm doing. If I position things correctly. I have no idea if that's a good angle because I can't see it. It's so stinking high up in the air. We'll just hope that it's halfway decent. Okay, all four of those are marked, so now I just need to cut them. I'm gonna get all these pins out of the way now. I'll probably lose all of these because I'm used to having them inside, not out here with my woodworking. That's fine. It's all a grand adventure. Losing things, finding things, getting upset, getting relieved. It's all a cycle of great joy and mystery. Isn't it interesting though? You can't experience being found or finding something if you don't lose something. So, I mean, nobody ever purposely loses something generally, but there is quite a relief and a joy in finding something that's lost. But it's not really a possible thing to experience unless you've already lost something. Quite interesting concept, really. Nah, I can't really see this very well or hold it properly, but we'll try and do this side first again. I can definitely see that line a lot better now that I marked with that white thing. Doesn't mean I'll be more accurate, I just can see it better. Way easier to see that cut, that's for sure. Helpful. I'll have to see if I can get a hold of one of those wood marking pencils or pens or whatever. This stuff is really crumbly. I wouldn't say it's the best material to use for this, but it's cheap and it's very sturdy. That's why I chose it, but it's kind of crumbly a little bit. It'd also be nice to have a saw that has an automatic light on it. See if this one does not. Good actually. This light up, couldn't I? Let's see why not. Not very straight. It don't matter that much. Live and learn. Yeah, the difficult ones are the horizontal cuts because I don't have like a proper table or position to put this thing. A chair would do the trick, wouldn't it? I think so. I think that would help. It's hard to cut straight with this thing, honestly. It takes a certain craft or skill that I don't necessarily have mastered at this point in time. Light destruction matrix. Close enough though. I'm not really going for perfection on this. It would be nice, but part of this is a learning process too. That was the worst one of all. That was a terrible cut. Ugh. Terrible. Oh well. But let's see how we did. If it fits in there, oh, I should have done the bottom first. Should have done the bottom shelf first so I could see it better from the top. But I mean, it's not going to be that big of an issue, but that would have been way easier. I did not think that clearly. Of course. That's why I've preached many times on these streams about the order you do things matters greatly. Now, the bottom shelf is covered by the middle shelf, so I can't see it as clearly, but it's not a huge deal. It's just not ideal. Let's try to put my glove on the right way instead of backwards. I think once I'm done with this shelf, I'll probably end the stream. Didn't get a lot done, but I knew that was probably going to be the case simply because I spent most of the day gathering all these various supplies. So you can see what I'm doing here. That should be a better angle. Ta-da! I'm just using a clamp to keep it in place. Once I get it kind of centered, which I don't know if it's centered yet, but I'm going to clamp one corner and then try to check the other corner. I think it should be pretty good. Yeah, we're good. All right, this part will be a little bit hard to show unless I move the camera back a little bit. You won't really be able to see it, but that's fine. Okay, now for my little template thing. That marking 6 inches for the screws. Except I put that amp right where I need to be, but what's that? And just approximately center it. And we just put a screw at each of my marks that I made on my template board here. I need to make an actual dinner. I haven't been cooking much at all because I've been doing all this crazy amount of stuff all the time. So by the end of the day, I'm just like, I don't want to do anything. If I had money, I would be eating out like literally every single day. But like last night, for example, I just had chips and salsa, and I've just been making kind of scrappy things. But I'm kind of in the mood to have like a real food tonight. Just don't want to actually have to make it. Probably make tacos. I haven't actually made that in a while. It's kind of my go-to meal that I make because I've done it so many times. I just it's easy, but I don't usually feel like making it after all this work. Yeah, that's nice. Or those people that are married and have a spouse that likes to cook or something. Not me. None of the above. I always feel guilty when I'm living with somebody that's just cooking all the time, because I hate cooking and it feels unequal if somebody else is like cooking all the time for me. Like my dad generally likes to cook and he does it all the time when I'm living there, but I think eventually he probably starts feeling, I don't know, some negative thought about it just because I'm not contributing in that particular aspect. Cooking is just not my thing. All right, I can take this off now because that other side is screwed in. I don't think it's going to make any difference. Whew, it's weird. It's getting hotter in the evening. I don't know why. It's very mucky. Getting pretty close to finishing this thing, like 2 of 3 shelves done. Really, all I have to do is add the top shelf and then those side panels that support the top shelf earlier in the stream, and then this thing will be pretty much done. But then I have to make a second one all from scratch, which will take a little while. Template won't exactly work quite the same on this side, but hopefully that's not bad. Can still use the marks, I just have to put them a lot closer to the edge, obviously. Kind of figure out how far in they need to go. I think this is about 1 inch, and then that's like a 3/4 of an inch, so let's find something I can use for a jig. You can see it. Almost see it through these gaps, but not quite. Let's eyeball it. So something like right there. I might be in a little bit far, but I think it'll hit the board. It's just all that really matters. Hey, the sun is going down enough that it's kind of under the trees and shining on my project. Nice. Might be overexposed on the stream. One more side and the bottom shelf is done. Pretty nice to be able to swing this around because of the wheels. Super easy, even though this thing is crazy heavy. It glides. Zero effort whatsoever.
I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. Everything I do so instinctive and so passionate. Every word I move so descriptive like an adjective. I got a vendetta against people who patented being negative when you should be getting after it. I got facts over tracks, this and that. Spitting slow, spitting fast. I could roast, I could gas. Think I'm okay at last, but I don't know if that can erase all the past. And the pettiness, a reflection of the emptiness. Hilarious, you think you're with my time, you're delirious. Mysterious, because you are behind the fake exterior. Inferior, you know I'll always be a bit superior. Get off of me, this ain't no humble brag. I want you to hear words, you can say them back. I want you to feel free from the chains that last. Believe in what you got, it was built to last, yeah.
Like machinery on it, I guess you could say, and that stuff will have its own chords that are just kind of properly chord routed with little clips going down the legs and stuff. But I don't think I'll necessarily. Yeah, I could. That's not a bad idea. But it's gonna be up against the wall anyway, and probably the wall that it's up against will have an outlet right by the wall. Yeah, I don't know. See.
If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. Gonna learn the consequence.
Currently there's no electrical outlets in this shop. I just have a long extension cord coming from
I could play a million mind games, but instead of say something not illogical, something that is topical. Rub it on and watch it go. Make yourself unstoppable. Dreams are irresponsible.
And I don't know how to do electrical work. We have some friends and family that do, so maybe they'll come over and do that for us at some point. Kind of forgetting which side I'm measuring. It doesn't really matter at this point. Okay, we did it. We did it. You guys, all your lurking energy helped me achieve great things today. So it's pretty much done except for the top, and I have to cut that piece especially. I have to get out my table saw and do a bunch of hubbub, and I don't really feel like it right now. It's getting kind of late. Maybe I'll actually... If I go in now, I might have energy to make something for dinner. If I like stay out here much longer, I'll just be like, I don't feel like doing anything. I mean, I never feel like doing anything, but at least if I go now, there's a slight chance I might actually make dinner. So make sure you can see that in the stream. I don't remember what angle I have. That's all right. Cool. So there is the generally finished product. You can kind of imagine what the top will look like, but I'll show it again next time I stream if I finish it. But yeah, anyway, I think that's it for today. I don't even know if I'll do another stream. I might do a Bible reading stream later or something, but we'll see how I'm feeling. Feeling pretty tired because, oh, I forgot I stayed up all night. Yeah, so I might not do anything too crazy out of the ordinary tonight, or actually much the opposite. I might do something out of the ordinary and go to sleep instead of staying up all night again, because I stayed up all night last night. Anyway, thanks for joining me. I guess I will head out for the night, and see you around. Yeah, I stay up insanely late. I literally stayed up all night twice this week, so I've slept, I don't even know, a weird amount. All right, well, later. See ya.